former President Jacob Zuma intends to oppose President Cyril Ramaphosa's urgent application to interdict the private prosecution bid against him. It comes after Ramaphosa filed papers in the Gauteng High Court on Tuesday, asking the court to interdict former President Jacob Zuma from taking any further steps to give effect to his private prosecution bid against the president. The president is also seeking the court to excuse him from appearing before it on the 19th of January 2022 as directed by the summons. Now, in addition, the president is seeking an order declaring the said summons unlawful, unconstitutional and invalid. This includes costs as well. So for more, our reporter Kani Mapanga filed this report.
Former President Jacob Zuma remains unflinching in his pursuit to launch a private prosecution against President Cyril Ramaphosa. The Jacob Zuma Foundation says that the president will oppose the said interdict application.
President Zuma intends to, in fact, will oppose this irrational interdict. The only challenge now is that President Zuma is trying to find his lawyers. His lawyers are on holiday. We can't get hold of them. I mean, President Ramaphosa had all the time before Christmas to do what he's doing now.
In the lengthy papers filed before the court, Ramaphosa argues, among other things, that a valid nolle prosequi certificate is a jurisdictional requirement that must exist before a valid summons may be issued for a valid private prosecution to commence. The president contends that no such certificate relating to him exists to justify the issuing of summons against him. The president further contends that the private prosecution bid is an abuse of process. He details that the summons was served on him a day before the ANC's 55th National Conference, where he was standing for re-election, was due to commence. The president continues to state that the summons was served to prevent him from standing as a candidate in terms of the ANC's step-aside rule. The National Prosecuting Authority previously clarified that the certificates of non-prosecution it issued to former President Zuma and his legal team were not in relation to Ramaphosa. The Jacob Zuma Foundation, however, branded this as dishonest.
We want to put it on record that the NPA lied, the NPA misled the public. The NPA said President Ramaphosa is not mentioned in the docket when he is mentioned. So that so-called clarification that they issued, it's actually not worth even the paper it's written on.
Meanwhile, legal analyst Benedict Perry argues that Zuma's legal team is doing everything to secure the former president's strategy to possibly evade the legal matters before him. Zuma is currently before the Pietermaritzburg High Court in a corruption trial, amongst others. Piri elaborates.
One, a strategy to stay out of jail on the medical parole aspect. There's two, a political strategy insofar as just his political ambitions are concerned. And three, there's a strategy relating to his corruption trial. So I think what his lawyers are doing is essentially bringing legal proceedings to give effect to, Mr. Zuma's goals in respect of each of those three legs.
The presidency says it will not be commenting further on the matter at this stage. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Right, in other news now, South Africa has had multiple legal cases in 2022, ones that rocked the country. So on that note, we're going to take a look at some legal stories that stood out and get some analysis on it. Modidima Mannya, legal analyst, joins us for more. A very good evening to you, Mr. Mannya. Thank you for your time here on the SABC.
Good evening and good evening to your viewers. I hope you can hear me. I'm in the deep rural area, so I'm not sure whether the connectivity is strong enough.
It seems the connection is strong enough. Let's see how far we can get into the conversation whilst it still holds. I think obviously there's been a lot of stories and cases that have come to the fore. We're going to try and break it down in a more succinct manner. Let's start off with the Public Protector Advocate Gobane's impeachment. It's the first time that a head of a Chapter 9 institution faces an impeachment process. How would you weigh in on that saga, which continues?
It's a very important issue for accountability. But I think what is disturbing is this and many other cases where the most powerful are the ones who are spending more time in court. It's very strange when those that hold us accountable or must be held accountable because they have the power and the resources run to court when court should be preoccupied with matters from ordinary citizens. But I think it's an important issue for accountability. The issue of Judge Sope is a matter for accountability. It has also been part of court cases. Judge Siriti and Judge Mosi, who presided over the arms deal case, also tried their luck in court and did not succeed with a view to prevent the Judicial Service Commission taking action against them. So it's a it has been a very interesting year of litigation.
So on the back of that, as we head into 2023, what should we be expecting in terms of accountability? And obviously, as we set to uphold the Constitution at large?
Well, President Ramaphosa is joining the queue of high-profile litigants. As you know, he has now brought an application which will be heard next year on the back of the CR17 records application where he succeeded. Former President Zuma is facing his corruption trial. He's also instituted his own litigation, more than 11 years of litigation now, against Bill Downer, SC, and Karen Mon, and now the president. We also going to be seeing former Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Makashule, appearing in his corruption trial in the Bloemfontein High Court. We will see more of the SIU action. Thus far, there are over 43 cases with billions of rands, the COVID ones involved, ANC contender Zwelim Kize being one of those involved in the digital vibe. So it's going to be a very interesting year. The Senzo Meyiwa trial will probably be completed in the next year. The ESCOM executives appeared in court, so there will be criminal trials, the VBS arrest. As you would have seen now recently, the mayor of the Sekhukhune district was arrested, appearing in court. So there's quite a lot of drama going forward. But I think in 2022, the biggest beneficiary of litigation has been Muslim women. You may not be aware that Muslim marriages were not recognized. The Constitutional Court has now declared certain sections of the Marriages and Divorce Act to be unconstitutional, and that gives full protection to Muslim women like all other women.
Mr. Mannya, thank you very much for that. Sorry, we are struggling a little bit to hear you, but I'm going to pick up of what you said by just quickly recapping and going back to 2022, because you mentioned, as we look, obviously the case between former President Jacob Zuma, Advocate Bill Downer, and President Cyril Ramaphosa has also received its own share of the spotlight. As we look at the timeline of, the former president's legal battles to date and private prosecutions by the former president, what was being explored and tested there? And what is likely to come of in 2023 as it continues? All right, Modidima Mannya, legal analyst, weighing in some of the country's biggest legal cases that occurred for 2022, and also looking at what's set to come for 2023. A technical issue, we'll leave that conversation there.